We are looking at some things you have been tagging me in or at on TikTok, Instagram. If you see anything online that you would like me to react to makeup wise, then go ahead and send it to me in a message or at me in a comment. We're looking at hacks, videos in general that we might be a little bit like, that doesn't seem quite right, or oh my gosh, that's amazing. So go ahead and subscribe if you haven't already. As I always like to say in these videos, creativity and individuality have no rules, but makeup has a theory, and that's what we look at in these videos. So basically, do what you want with your makeup, but don't make recommendations if you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Okay, let's get straight into it. Well, okay, so obviously a spoon isn't going to do nothing. It's actually much easier to do your makeup, especially if you're trying to overline your lips, when your mouth is still. Because you can see exactly what your lips are going to look like. If you're pushing your lip up, look what happens to my lip. So if I was to draw the line on when I push it up and then let it down, one, the Cupid's bow detail is gone, but also the line comes down. Do your makeup with your face still. Yes, you can raise an eyebrow, you know, do whatever, but lines like this, keep your face still. Keep your face still. Also, like all this, these, you can see these lines don't do anything because later on, they're completely gone. Highlighting a lip like this with a lighter concealer would work, especially if you put it just in the middle. But if you're just going to blend it in and go over the top with a product that completely smooths it out, again, nothing's going to happen. You're better off putting something lighter on now, or just putting a gloss in those areas. That's it. Nothing really much else to say about that one. So this video says, your reminder that makeup has no rules, creativity and individuality have no rules, but makeup has a theory. You can tight line your eyes with the same lipstick you use on your lips. Now here's why some people do makeup professionally and know the rules of makeup. Saying makeup has rules doesn't mean you can't do what you want and that you're not good at makeup. Saying it has rules means it stops things like this. Now, we didn't see her clean the lipstick in between applications. Granted, right? Maybe she did that. Maybe she sanitized it from her mouth to her eyes. You cannot put something near your mouth, even if it doesn't go in your mouth, breathing on it, doing whatever, and then go straight to your eye and put that product in your eye. Let's forget for a minute about the, regulations on red dye in products, red coloring in products near the eyes. A lot of people ignore that. It doesn't matter. I don't care. It doesn't matter to me because it's different in Europe than it is in the US, for example, because, Europeans react differently to red colorings, which obviously I'm being sarcastic. Your mouth and your eyes, different kind of bacteria, right? You could cause yourself, even if it's your own mouth, your own eyes, quite a bad infection. To a point, it could be something minimal, a little bit itchy, a little bit something, but it could cause infections to a point where you actually need medical attention for what you've done to your eyes. Please, dear God, there is a reason why there are some rules to makeup. And this is why some rules exist. This is why science exists. Remember science, right? She's not wrong. You could absolutely use a lipstick around your eyes if you want to. If it's been sanitized, and you're not worried about the dye, whatever, the product. In the professional world, multiple products are used in multiple areas, especially when you see something on runway, if you see something editorial. But don't put it on your lips and then on your eyes like this. It's really, really, really harmful. It could be really terrible too. So that's stupid. That's a terrible test. So what they're doing is they're testing the coverage of a foundation by going over a black line, right? But they're using the same brush and turning it around. So of course you're getting more and more coverage as you go down, or the formula is changing. Even if you're not getting more coverage, the formula isn't the formula of that foundation because you've just mixed those together. I mean, is that not simple knowledge? So this says on the screen, bronzer isn't just for warmth, it's for shape, cheekbone, temples, jawline, that's it. Yeah, kind of. Bronzer was literally just invented to add warmth to the skin. Contour is going to contour your features because, I mean, you can see here the bronzer is on this whole area here, but this patch is darker because of lighting, right? Lighting everywhere in general. So if you wanted that to be a permanent feature, you would contour that area. Bronzer does add shape. Sure, it sculpts, absolutely. Is it the main thing you should be using to sculpt and shape your face? No, but also yes, if you want to. She's not wrong. She's not wrong. Oh wait, okay, no, I've read this wrong. Bronzer isn't for warmth, it's for shape. That's factually incorrect. Bronzer does add warmth to your skin. It was literally made to mimic a tan. If you look at the history of bronzer, the reason it was made was to mimic tan, and that's what bronzer does. It bronzes the skin, meaning it adds warmth. If she said bronzer isn't just for warmth, then she would be correct. But this is a factually incorrect statement on the screen. On screen it says how to contour your lips like a pro. I can tell you right now, no professional is wasting their time doing this shape. Why I call that a waste of time as well is because she drew that shape on and then went over it with your finger. If we're taking this for fact as what she's saying, how to contour your lips like a professional wouldn't do that because you're wasting your time doing details and then rubbing it out, and also like that just looks like a lip line that you've lined on the top here and on the bottom here, which is fine. It looks lovely, but factually it's not what the pros are doing. That's a nice shape. I mean, if it works, right? I love templates when they actually work as a template or a stencil, right? So like, yes, a Band-Aid, a credit card, a business card works as a great template or stencil. Template? Stencil isn't what I mean, is it? Template for where to put your liner. Cool. Works great for eye makeup too. This I have a bit of a problem with because a lot of people that have, if this is eyeliner hacks, by the way, hacks are meant to make things easier. A lot of people have issue with drawing straight lines. She has drawn two perfectly beautiful straight lines. And for a lot of people, the difficulty comes in drawing those straight lines. So this doesn't necessarily make it easier because you've done half a line already. Then all you have to do is draw it back to here. And look, and there's a straight line. So that's not really a hack. That's just doing your eyeliner. Looks stunning. I mean, and if you want to do that, then great.
Where did this just come from?
Okay, so I think, wait, this had comments with it too, right? So someone put AI, obviously, listen, we need to stop thinking everything is AI. A lot of stuff is AI, but please, look, you can't just blame everything on AI. Someone says it's not, and then someone says everything is AI to you all. You can see where this happens. So this happened because, so it physically comes out like the bottom of a brush. Can you see? Can you see the gap that's coming out of here? And then when she holds the brush up, you can see the side where it's come out of. You see that big gap there. A few things why this might happen is because the brush was poorly made, is one. Doesn't mean necessarily it was cheap. Cheap brushes can be well made. It just means that this brush was poorly made. Or you can kind of see where the hairs are still grouped together, right? It's still glued down together here. So what that could mean, this is why people say when you are cleaning your brushes to be really careful with your brushes if you want them to last a long time. Because what could have happened is water could have got in here, oil, whatever, someone, not saying that this is what this person did, I'm just giving options, could have got into that glued area and broken down the glue. Even water can do that. Over time, if water gets into that area, it can break down the glue and what's holding the glue onto whatever, right? So that's why when people say when you're washing your brushes, don't put them in a washing machine, don't submerge them in water, don't get the ferrule wet, which is this bit here, because that's where everything is being held together. So if you want your brushes to last a really long time, you have to be very delicate with the way you're washing them. You can't just throw them all in a sink and let them soak, unless you're not worried about them lasting a long time. This person says, underpainting my entire face blue to make my foundation cool enough.
I've bought so many cool foundations and it doesn't seem to matter. Everything pulls so yellow warm on me in the winter, so we're gonna see if this works. Usually I add music here, but this was so crazy that I feel like I have to talk to you guys. Started doing what I said. I'm just gonna do blue underpainting. I kind of tried to contour a little bit, do a little extra on the cheekbone. And then when I started to put it on my face, it turned really, really green. Horrible color. I added this concealer
Because blue and yellow is going to make green.
To see if it helped, and it was just bad. So I had the crazy idea to add some red pigment back because red is the opposite of green on the color wheel. Once I did that, I was like, this isn't gonna cut it. I need a lot of red. So I got my blush brush and used heavy blushes and heavy red eyeshadow. Put a ton on my face. I did it all over my face, and then when I blended it in, I used the same brush that I used for the foundation. So it still had a little bit of that green. Red was a Hail Mary. I thought this was gonna be a fail video, and then every time I pulled away, it was more and more my neck color. It was completely shocked, and so I just did my whole face that way. Kind of didn't want it to work because I was like, this is so tedious, and this is the closest my foundation has ever matched my skin. After that, I was like, let's do the eyes. I wanted to use orange again on my eyes to bring it back to a natural shade. This whole look was supposed to look like human skin. I didn't want it to look too much like I was wearing a glam makeup look. Like, why not? Let's just see if I do like a pure orange on this blue eyeshadow, if anything happens. It's not perfect because I didn't really apply perfectly, but I think it looks really good. Everything else I just did normal, but like natural. That's Rum Reach, my favorite shade of Maybelline lipstick. This is what it looked like at the end. The fact that I had to correct the orange with blue and then correct the blue with red to make it more warm. So annoying, but it looks a lot better than my foundation usually does, especially for applying so poorly.
You can still see a little bit of green there, but how fun is colour? I think what she needs is a neutral foundation. And here's what people do, right? Some brands make neutral foundations, but they don't make them neutral cool, neutral warm. A lot of brands do, but some brands don't. So I think she needs to find, obviously, the right balance there of neutral. But, I mean, if this was great. This was a great show of color theory and how color cancels out other colors. But yes, if your foundation, you put it on, did she say it was too red, too yellow? So she could get a neutral cool foundation because she's trying to make her foundation cooler. But the thing is, if it's going to be yellow and you add blue, you're going to get green. But by adding like a redness into yellow, because yellow and red cancel each other out. I always say this, just as much as green and red, right? So you can get a yellow, neutral cool, and maybe it's like a little bit too yellow. You can add some red droppers, you know, the ones that, who does the foundation things? Get those, it'll fix it right up. She did a really good job. I think that was really fun to watch. Listen, I'm not going to let the fact that she looks incredible let me not talk about how awful this is. Don't use Sharpies on your face, please. There's various reasons. There's a lot of reasons not to use Sharpies on your face. Permanent markers. These shades, you can find lip liners available in these shades. Really waxy ones that last a long time. Using permanent marker on your face is multi-level marketing pyramid scheme level advertising. Like, you don't need to be doing that. There's no reason for you to do that. I know this is just for entertainment purposes only, but I bet you if you go to the comments, they'll be like, I'm gonna try this next week. And it's like some 11-year-old child. It's like, please don't. Not in your skin, please.
Want to see something crazy? This is the darkest makeup that I could possibly find to make the darkest bags that I possibly can. And the under eye corrector is still going to shine. Watch this, okay? No cuts, no edits, no filters, no nothing. That looks horrible, but I'm just going to fix it. This is the Tarte under eye corrector. Yes, of course, you still get that brush for free with it, and it's just going to offset the darkness under your eye. Now, obviously, that's literally a black liner, but still.
Okay. When people demonstrate how to cover dark circles by painting the dark circle on, let me tell you why I don't like it. Texture plays differently with texture, right? So if I was to be like, how to cancel out dark lips? I don't have dark lips. I have a product on my mouth. So if I was to put something on top of it, it doesn't work the same as covering up skin tone. It might be a good example talking about color theory, but she just used pure black. No one's under eyes are the color black, the shade black. There's blue, there's purple, there's depths off that blue and that purple to make it look black, but it is not pure black. This might be a good example of showing how much this product covers. So I'm not particularly angry at this one, but if this was like a how to color correct, then it would annoy me. Just bear in mind as well now, even if that's like a permanent product, the product is almost like diluting, let's say, the product underneath. Because if this concealer has oils, some kind of like emollient ingredients in whatever, it's gonna kind of break down that color a little bit, whereas on our skin, a product can't move away or you know, break down the darkness under our eyes. Yeah, that's... These examples online of like, look what this does when I do this, they're not great. They're not good. All right, well, thank you for joining me. If you see anything online that you find questionable and like, oh, I don't know about that, send it to me in a message. Maybe don't at me because some people block me because they know what I'm gonna do. All right, thanks again for joining me and I'll see you very soon. Bye.